Emotional healing is a journey many embark on after facing trauma, loss, or deep internal struggles. At the heart of this process is a concept that sounds simple but can be extraordinarily complex: acceptance. We often hear that to heal emotionally, we must accept what has happened to us or what we feel. But what does acceptance really mean in this context? More importantly, how can something as passive as acceptance lead to profound, active healing? Herein lies the paradox. Acceptance, in emotional healing, is often misunderstood. We tend to associate it with giving up or resigning ourselves to circumstances we cannot change. It feels passive, as though accepting means being okay with what hurts us, or feeling powerless to alter our reality. However, acceptance is far from passivity. It's an active, dynamic process that opens the door to healing by helping us release resistance rather than submit to defeat. What does acceptance actually mean? The first step in resolving this paradox is to redefine what acceptance is. Acceptance is not about agreeing with or condoning what has happened to you. It's about acknowledging the reality of your situation, your feelings, and your wounds without judgment or resistance. This involves recognizing that you are feeling what you're feeling for a reason, and that it's valid to experience pain, sadness, or anger. Often, we want to push these emotions away. They're uncomfortable, sometimes unbearable, and accepting them can feel like surrendering to our suffering. But when we deny, repress, or fight these emotions, they tend to persist and intensify, like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. It keeps popping up. True acceptance allows us to stop expending energy resisting our emotions and begin the process of understanding and working with them. For example, imagine someone struggling with low self-worth. They may tell themselves repeatedly that they shouldn't feel this way or that they should just get over it. But this internal conflict only reinforces their self-doubt. Acceptance, in this case, would mean acknowledging that these feelings of inadequacy exist and that there is likely a reason behind them. Once that acknowledgement is made, they can begin to explore the source of these feelings and gradually work toward healing. The healing power of paradox. The paradox of acceptance lies in its ability to foster change by allowing things to stay as they are. When we accept our emotions or past experiences, we create a space for those emotions to move through us rather than stay stuck. This, in turn, allows healing to begin. Take the common struggle of codependency. A person might desperately want to stop being so dependent on others for their self-worth, but they feel trapped in a cycle of people-pleasing. In their efforts to change, they might become even more frustrated with themselves for not being able to break free. But paradoxically, when they accept that they are codependent and that this pattern has developed for specific reasons, perhaps as a coping mechanism in earlier life, they may find that the urgency to change subsides. In that acceptance, space opens up to explore how these patterns came to be, and they can begin to gently shift out of them. Healing, then, doesn't always come from forcing change, but from accepting what is, allowing it to evolve naturally. When we stop fighting our emotions, we stop reinforcing the pain that comes with them. Acceptance and accountability. Acceptance doesn't absolve us of the responsibility for our healing. It's not a passive state where we simply let life happen to us. Instead, acceptance involves taking accountability for our feelings, recognizing that while we may not have chosen our wounds, we are responsible for how we move forward. For someone with trust issues in relationships, for example, acceptance doesn't mean they stop trying to build trust altogether. It means acknowledging that their lack of trust has deep roots and that healing it will take time, patience, and effort. By accepting this reality, they can take proactive steps, such as seeking therapy, practicing vulnerability, or setting healthy boundaries, that will lead to healthier, more trusting relationships in the future. Embracing the journey. The paradox of acceptance is that in accepting what is, we find the freedom to heal and grow. This doesn't mean the path is easy or free from discomfort. In fact, acceptance often brings its own set of challenges, requiring us to face painful truths and work through difficult emotions. But in doing so, we release ourselves from the futile battle of denial and resistance. To accept is to acknowledge that we are imperfect, that our experiences have shaped us, and that our feelings are valid. This acknowledgement doesn't trap us in our wounds. It frees us to understand them, learn from them, and ultimately transcend them. In emotional healing, acceptance is the foundation upon which we build our recovery. It's not the end of the journey, but the beginning. And in that beginning lies the paradox. Through acceptance, we gain the power to change.